Hey guys, my name is Nick, and this is Watch This Now. Birds of Prey follows fan favorite Harley Quinn post-breakup with the Joker, as she learns that without having a supervillain boyfriend by her side, there are a lot of people in Gotham City out for her head. Most notably, Black Mask, a criminal club owner played by Ewan McGregor, who is having a fantastic time in this movie. Harley Quinn ends up on a MacGuffin mission in order to save her own skin, and through a twisty-turny, fast-forward, rewind narrative, Harley ends up meeting up with Huntress, Black Canary, and Renee Montoya to protect the young Cassandra Cain, who Black Mask is after because she stole the MacGuffin from one of his associates. But with all of that, there is really no one story trying to be told here. This movie is just about spending a couple hours within the bonkers, crazy-ass mind of Harley Quinn. Now listen, what I want to talk about is expectations real quick, because I think that's really my goal here, is to set expectations for anyone going into a movie or TV show. And I am not the biggest comic book guy, so I don't know a whole lot about the Birds of Prey comics or what was done with Harley Quinn in the comic books and whatnot. I don't really care, to be perfectly honest, but I'm sure there are some sticklers who want to see those versions on screen, and I totally get it. I wouldn't call this the Birds of Prey movie. This really should have been the Harley Quinn movie, even if they called it just the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. I would have been like, that's cute, that's funny, it's the Harley Quinn movie, that's what we're gonna end up calling it all anyway. But the fact that they threw that Birds of Prey title on there, I think is going to throw a lot of people off and give them the wrong expectations going in here. Because this isn't so much a team-up movie. They don't really all come together until the end. And I think if a lot of people went into a Harley Quinn movie and then saw the seeds planted for a Birds of Prey spin-off being set up, people would just have a completely different view of this film. So that's how I'm trying to look at it, because I ended up having a wonderful time watching this movie. It is all over the place. It is crazy, but it's a ton of fun, and I would say that is what this movie is going for. It is just trying to be a fun, good time. So if that's what you're looking for, Birds of Prey will deliver. Margot Robbie is still excellent as Harley Quinn. From the trailers, I was a little nervous. I was like, I think she may have lost it a little bit. I don't know how this is gonna work. But in the movie, I think she does such a good job. This is totally her character. She has totally infused her energy into this role, and she does such a good job throughout all of the different emotions. From being sad, there is one particular sequence with a sandwich that is probably what made me love this movie, but she just sells everything, and I would love to see her play this role pretty much forever. And Mary Elizabeth Winstead, she is one of my favorites. She has been a heroine in a whole bunch of horror films. I love her. We don't get enough Huntress in the movie. That is a bummer, but she is such a huge badass in the moments that she is on screen. Also, Journey Smollett-Bell does a really good job as Black Canary, because she actually ends up getting more screen time and more to do, and she has some ass-kicking scenes of her own, but I like that they gave her enough little material to work with. She does some subtle, nuanced stuff to really expand that small material, so I gotta give her credit there. But also, one, it's just so good to see Rosie Perez in something again, but she gets in on the ass-kicking herself. I think the cast here is really good, and everyone seems to be having a blast. Again, Ewan McGregor, so great. He is so good. He is really good in this movie. He is hilarious. I think he got most of the laughs from the overall audience. But again, we spend a lot of time individually with different characters, and again, mostly with Harley Quinn, which is why this should have just been called Harley Quinn. And what's kind of fun is that they don't actually really fit together as characters. And once we see them trying to work together more towards the end of the film, it's like, this is a really interesting dynamic. It's not just like Charlie's Angels or something. It's not just three chicks thrown together and whatever. These are really interesting individual characters, and I would have liked to see more of that dynamic played out. I'm sure, of course, they're like, give us your dollars and we'll give you a sequel. That's the name of the game, people, so give them the dollars, because I definitely want to see the sequel to this. What a good idea to bring in Chad Stahelski to pump up the action in this film, because I think the action scenes are awesome. They look so good. They're nice and wide and fluid, and you can really see how everything fully plays out. For me, personally, maybe this is me growing up on Mortal Kombat, But I feel like movie fights always look choreographed. So for me, it's really about how well does it look? How cool does it really look playing out? And here, I have to say, I think a lot of the fight sequences in particular look like video game fight sequences, and I mean that in a good way. There were some especially brutal moments where I was like, felt like I could see the extra points coming off of each baseball bat swing. It doesn't always feel like the action and the violence in the film is really there to serve the story. However, I'm glad that this movie is loaded with so many random fight sequences and action scenes because it's really what keeps this movie entertaining. I mean, I think there's a lot of fun with the character stuff, and that's what I really enjoyed, especially a lot of the little funny moments with Harley and getting inside of her head and the way she sort of psychoanalyzes people and they just look at her like, but you're fucking crazy. But this movie is just focused on having a purely fun time. Because you know what? That's what everyone yelled at DC for. They were like, this is too gritty and boring, and I don't like this. And I feel like Birds of Prey is the closest thing to being Deadpool without trying to be Deadpool. I don't at all think that it's like trying to steal that. I think that this movie has its own tone and its own fun. I really have to give it to director Kathy Ann because she manages to keep this weird dark comedy, hilarious, bonkers, weird, wacky tone going throughout the whole film that weaves in and out of the action. And I have to say, for one of those independent filmmakers that then gets this like big budget movie, I think she did a really good job, even though I know people are gonna be like, yeah, but she didn't actually helm the action. Well, yeah, good thing. I'd rather they bring in someone who can do the really big action stuff and then have a solid filmmaker that can do all of the character work. I think it blends and it fits really well. The action sequences do look slightly a little bit different, like I will admit, but they don't look completely out of place. Basically, I think it all comes together in this movie, and it's funny, I have to say my main comparison that I keep thinking about already after just seeing it is it reminds me a lot of Captain Marvel, which will throw off a lot of people. There's a lot that this movie has in common with Captain Marvel. Mostly all of the trolls that have come out of the woodwork because a movie with female protagonists is out. But my main problem, same with Captain Marvel, was that I felt like the story structure and the actual story of it, I was like, I don't know why we're doing this, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. And that's how I feel about Birds of Prey. I don't exactly know what the whole deal is with this story or what it's trying to do. I really feel like it was just trying to introduce the Birds of Prey characters and give Harley Quinn her own movie. But it doesn't do anything in terms of like building our own little world for Harley, which I kind of like because I'm really loving this DC multiverse, the new way that they're taking it. I don't want them all to be perfectly connected. It's like Marvel has that covered. They're doing that. I really like that over at DC, we can have like 50 Jokers. Like, you know, a Joker is still playing at my local theater. It's still there. And we have Birds of Prey out. I mean, I like that we can have all of these different types of movies within the DC universe, and I had such a fun time with Birds of Prey. If that's all you're looking for, this movie is an action-packed funhouse. That's exactly what you go to the movies for. I had an awesome time. I thought this movie was hilarious. It was a ton of fun, and it was action-packed. There was so much action. I was not expecting as much action in this movie. It isn't perfect, but I had a really fun time. I'm gonna give Birds of Prey a 3 out of 5. I don't think it's like the best movie ever, but a lot of us were worried, you know, what the hell is this thing gonna be? And I happen to think that this is kind of like the perfect chick flick action film. It's awesome. In fact, I kind of already need to see it again. What did you guys think of Birds of Prey? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you're planning on seeing this one or not. I highly recommend it, but of course, if you want to, you know, hold out for The Invisible Man or whatever you're doing, you let me know what you're seeing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video.